Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, of course, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And with me, back again, my favorite ladies to do watch parties with. We've got Retro Nerd Girl, and of course,
Hi.
her of Positive Fandom and the Burnett Work. How are you ladies doing this evening?
Doing
Doing
good.
well. Good to be.
And I'm thirsty. Uh, well, first of all, I'm so glad you ladies are back, and I have been wanting to do a watch party about this film ever since I saw it. And for you folks who were like, "What film is that?" In case you missed the thumbnail, that film would be "They Cloned Tyrone." It
Yes.
is streaming on Netflix, and it's one of those films where I thought it was one thing and I almost skipped it,
Mhm.
but three things made me not skip this movie. One, that Jamie Foxx was in it, two, that John Boyega is in it, and three, hopefully he'll be able to join us. Mark with a C was just like, you can't sleep on this movie. You got to watch it. And I watched it, and I'm just like completely blown blown away. I know her has not seen it yet.
Oh, this
Retro
is so
Nerd
great.
Girl, you have seen it yet, and I believe you kind of had the same trepidation that I did in a
Yes,
way.
I'm very critical of Black exploitation films, even though they were so enjoyable and fun back in the 70s. They were also I felt they were also damaging as well. But I think, I was kind of surprised to see a modern film with the tropes of a drug dealer, a pimp, and the whore. And it was
Mhm.
just sort of like, oh my goodness, like, are they really trying to recreate a Black exploitation film? The way it was done in the 70s. And I was hearing some really interesting things about how good it was through the grapevine. And I said, okay, we'll sit down and watch it. And even in like the first few minutes, it was a rocky start for me. I was like, I'm going to hit the button and stop this right now. And as I waited and really got deeper into the story, it exploded with so much just nuance and
Mhm.
information that was just like it was like, wow, this is a much deeper movie than I initially thought. And what also drew me in to into this drew me into this story was also seeing some of the stills of the movie, of how beautifully it was shot, how gorgeous the costumes looked, the colors that they chose, the lighting, the smoke in some cases. It's just a pretty film. And so I did enjoy all that, and I just from the stills, and I said, okay, let's see this, because it looks like there's somebody with some talent, that's really putting this together. And
Mhm.
I was so pleased. I was so pleased.
Oh, absolutely. I love hearing that, especially with films like these that are like sleepers, and then it's just like, whoa,
Yeah.
I can't wait. I have to tell people about this film. I know you have not seen it. What are you looking forward to most about this film?
Well, you guys don't know this, but a lot of times on streams, people ask, like, what film do you go to? What kinds of films do you go to that you would consider, like your guilty pleasures? And it's always black exploitation or sexploitation films for me.
Yeah.
That's right. It can't be any more. It's got to be Superfly. It's got to be Barbarella. I
Oh,
want to see it
yeah.
all. I want to see all that juicy,
Yes.
good stuff. I want to see Jackie Brown. I want to see it all. I just want to go there, and I just kind of look at it as it's meant for artistic
Mhm.
purposes only. I think the fascination with black exploitation films, especially, was that the studios wanted to figure out how people were able to create these films on such a low budget. And the fact of the matter was that they didn't have a budget, and they all had to like call in favors to do many of these films. Somebody, uh, like in the case of many of the actors in the films, they were using their own clothes for
Mhm.
the wardrobe, and Turner Classics, they feature a lot of, shows where they talk about black exploitation, and many of them feel like they started a kind of movement with black exploitation. But what it really was were people who wanted to make movies that were artistic. I think there's a certain
Mhm.
artistic level, a little bit of artistic license with it. Perhaps, you don't take everything to heart with it because it's meant to push extremes in some cases. But I think it's amazing that they could make films that look like their studio made films for the amount of money that they spent on it. And of course, many of the actors in the films were just really, really talented. And, that talent
Yes.
shines through in what we see. So it's enjoyable in that regard, and I'm kind of like, okay, that happened. Okay, cool. It is what it is. But I think that capturing that moment in time where they had the ability to go ahead and make these films, and they suddenly
Mhm.
became popular and were in theaters, is a triumph in
Yeah.
itself.
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of look at, I honestly, I don't know what the film, I didn't know anything about this film in
Mhm.
regards to what it's about, but it has John
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boyega in it, and he rarely makes a bad film.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on here.
Well, I am looking forward to seeing this for the 4th time, and if
Mhm.
anything, introduce some of you to films that are like this. It's the spooky season. Folks who are into horror, it's like y'all just want to be scared. Y'all just want to be psychologically freaked out. So, what a great time to introduce films on my channel that fit into that vein that you may not have thought of before. And this is the perfect one to kick it off with. So, before we get started, number one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Number two, make sure you're subscribed to my girls down here, Retro Nerd Girl and her. After you have done that, if you have Netflix, you can watch along with this video. I will have a timer right below me that'll show you where we are in watching the film. And if you don't have Netflix, well, it will be on screen, but guess what? It'll be masked so that YouTube does not pull the stream down. So that is why you will not hear audio. However, what you will see is closed captioning, and what you will hear is our commentary because we give you commentary. We
Mhm.
watch the movies the way that we watch the movies. And for my overseas viewers, uh, it's a cultural thing. We like to talk to the screen. So, you know, that stereotype is definitely rooted in truth. Okay. just, it just is. All right, ladies. So, are we ready to They
Absolutely.
Cloned Tyrone, starring John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, and Teyonah Parris, who you've seen her as oh my gosh, which Marvel was she?
Oh, I asked the wrong person because I forgot already.
Okay, she wasn't Miss Marvel, she wasn't Captain
Is it Thor?
Marvel. Uh
Was it in Thor?
no, she was in Captain Marvel, but she was
Oh,
oh my
okay.
gosh. Don't laugh at me, y'all. Please don't pull my nerd pass. Uh Monica
Yeah,
Rambeau. Oh my gosh.
yeah, Rambo, yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
Monica
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rambeau.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
So,
like
like
her.
her too. I just this content that's surrounding it, it's kinda hazy to me, so kinda
mhm. But I will tell you, her the acting chops of everyone is just amazing in this film, directed by
Mhm.
Jewel Taylor, who also directed Creed 2. Uh, he did direct the new Space Jam movie, but we will not hold it against him because Creed 2 was off the freaking chain. You got to start somewhere. So here we go. And I need to hit like the darn I get it. There we go.
Oh, the music is incredible in this, by the way.
Yes. Another thing about black exploitation films, because I remember seeing them like in syndication, where they would run the movies on the weekends, or my parents would get it like on DVD and my uncles. It was a way of seeing ourselves and the stories that we were telling for the most part. They may not have been 100% perfect, but a lot of folks got their ideas and became like screenwriters and actors and directors watching us. Keep them smiling. This looks straight out of the 70s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's say we got hustling CDs in the parking lot. I forgot if they came into the barber shop or not, but here we are at the yard and the projects. You can't believe he's British.
Oh yeah, he's doing some good work here.
Nobody wants to be a Squidward, just saying. If you watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Driving the land yachts. Oh my gosh, my grandfather, my uncle had one.
Oh.
I was like, dang. It's like I got my Capri Sun. I'm good. It's like the mafia enforcers, right? You late with that payment, they're coming at you with the tire iron.
Yeah.
Break some legs. So for those of you who have never watched a movie called New Jack City, they would use the little kids, and this is, I've seen this in neighborhoods. They use the little kids to like snitch on the cops rolling through the neighborhood because if they get caught, they're just put in juvie.
Mhm.
But that was like a quick way to make money. Here, watch the corner for me. Okay. Got dranks. Dranks. Pour one out.
That's
There was
right.
always that wino on the corner waiting. Oh, I'll go to the store for my nana when she lived in North Philadelphia. I'm like, buy your own beer. I'm not buying any beer. My nana sent me here to buy snuff. That's what she. White bread sandwiches with the crust off and the community fish fry. I still love that line. It's like, are they serious with that? They got money in a pizza box. I did not expect to see that. Mm-mm.
Somebody owes
Yeah.
somebody money.
Gonna be short my money. Hey. And to think I almost became a vice cop. I would have been doing this.
Oh
Yup.
boy.
Oh yeah. I wanted to work homicide. I got told, well, you're gonna have to work your way up because we're gonna have to put you on vice first, probably. Hey Mark,
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
how you
All right.
doing? Glad you could join
Good,
us.
good. Yeah. You know, there's always got to be that one person who comes to the movie late, right?
Yeah.
So that's me. Stepping over everybody in the aisle.
Save the
Excuse me,
seat.
pardon me.
Save that seat. All right. I love this scene. Yes. He's not wrong. And this is what kind of started me thinking, what time zone are they, what time period are they in when
Yeah.
she starts talking about blockchain and crypto and all the
Mhm.
cars you see are like late 70s, early 80s land yacht looking cars.
Mhm. And then we
Those
have the
Mhm.
kid. We have that kid talking about SpongeBob.
hmm It's just like where they get LED lights from at the no-tell
Mhm.
motel.
Mhm. She snitched.
Mm-hmm. There's always that complicated relationship between a hoe and their pimp. Wrong guy. Did I start where my money at? Where my money at? Mm-hmm.
You know he had to be ad libbing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Dang, Jamie Foxx look like my uncle right now. Oh, pictures.
Uh,
Yeah, he knows it.
Yeah, you know what's up.
that's why you always got to park nose out. You don't have to back up.
Mm,
Round.
let me write that down.
Uh,
And this is when you're just like, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, he knew it.
He knew it, and you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're just like, what is.
mm.
Mental note for those of you who watch horror movies, you never assume somebody is dead. You double tap them to make sure they're dead. But in this case, you triple tapped them.
Yeah, they did the right thing. I mean,
Yeah.
well, for who they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
for their character.
You.
Y'all sound like y'all got experience.
Uh,
What's up?
we
Got some gangster chicks in
we
here.
watch a lot
uh,
of movies.
yeah, I will neither. Yeah, watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of Miami Vice. I confirm nor deny.
We watch all of the John Wicks, so we
Yep.
right. He double taps it every time.
Mhm. And you're just like, "Is this Groundhog Day? What the heck is this?"
Yeah, I still didn't figure it out by now. I was confused.
It's like he did this yesterday.
Yeah.
Pour one out to Ned the Wino.
He says straighter is greater.
Yes. And I did not get what he was talking about. I thought it was you hear these ramblings,
Hmm.
and I was just like,
Oh,
why are they showing that again?
I love this part.
And then you see this, and you're like, what?
It's like, who this?
And I thought he was gonna, thought they were just gonna hit him, but it's just like, what the? And it's pretty obvious he has not seen this before.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Off to see the
Mm.
wizard, from the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I love this. There's so many, so good.
The fact that she says stories,
Hmm.
I was, it was just like, okay, maybe not quite Groundhog Day, but what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's not the same exact like she
Yeah.
said before.
So I thought that was brilliant because it's just like it's the same. Maybe it isn't the same day.
It's so funny. I had a friend whose mom did that too. She was always in her room, and it's like, I'm watching my stories.
Mm-hmm. Bring me this, bring me that.
Yes, they want everything brought to them. Yeah.
Come fasten the strap on my shoe. That was my job as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Because we all saw it happen.
Mhm.
But you,
I love how he's like flipping out.
you supposed to be dead. Yeah, that irritates me too.
What?
And that's the other thing when they're talking about stuff that's
Mhm.
much more modern than
Yeah.
the setting we see.
Mhm.
You making money and it don't involve me?
DJ Strangelove, like Doctor Strangelove,
Mm-hmm.
a movie.
Mm.
And it's just like, what kind of subliminal suggestion is this? That was a kidnap SUV, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one that snatched
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
the other person.
Good eye.
She's like, I may have to buy this house.
I love her character. She's so multi-layered.
Mm-hmm. Notice that says cold drinks, not
Mhm.
drinks. DRANKS.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, that movie.
See, with her, she picks up a lot of stuff
Mhm.
before the others do. But then
She's
again, in
like
her line of work, she has to be very perceptive.
astute. Yeah.
On
Yeah.
toes.
And I love this soundtrack. This music score is right on point
Oh yeah.
every time. Yeah.
Couldn't be me. Some elevator, you don't know where it goes.
Yeah, I would have already.
Lagging.
Nah,
I'm out.
whatever's going on,
Y'all in the car.
I'm never gonna know about it.
There's nothing that I'm not that curious. I'm like, oh
Mm-mm.
well, I guess that's a
No,
weird thing that happened.
And like my dad would say, well, there wouldn't be a story if they didn't go in. I'm like, I know, but shoot, couldn't be me.
right?
That's what we trying to figure out. And his was fake gold plated. That's what killed. Who don't like Mike?
I love those boots.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I can't get up. It's so
Yeah, me
adorable.
too. Yeah.
Didn't Pam Grier wear them boots in the movie hers? Because they look too
She could
familiar.
have.
Probably.
Well, it's called a high tech drug house. That's what it's called. Don't be tasting stuff you don't know what it is. Oh, did he pulled out a Crown Royal bag? What the heck that mean? What the hell he doing?
What?
It's like, what the heck happened to him? It's like he's stuck. Don't be mixing stuff. He ain't coming back from that.
Yeah.
But I guess if he got stabbed with a lightsaber, he'd come back from that.
Hmm.
And this is when Ish got real. I mean, real, real. I'm like, whoa. And I love how that's distorted so you can't really hear
Hmm.
because we're like as disoriented as Fontaine. I was just like, what the? Just saw myself on the table. dead with bullet holes in me.
That's oh yeah, those are all her
Nancy Drew books.
yeah, her Nancy Drew collection.
Yeah, I did read those books. Turkish ostrich, damn it. And you look at all this stuff in her room. She's got a periodic table of the elements,
Mhm.
Nancy Drew books, space program posters. Another Cartoon Network reference.
That
And got his boys with him. Elevator.
mhm. Just some water, that'll help everything out.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's dehydrated, man.
Like, dang. I love their arguing.
Oh, yeah. And I like how they're panicking too.
Hmm.
It's just, they're just yeah, they're, like, freaking out. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this part. The secret recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And at first you thought that they was just messing with him, right? And
See,
and this
this is when I was officially
yup,
curious, right
Yeah,
here at this
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
this is the Solian greenest people
Uh-huh.
moment right
Hmm.
here. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, dang.
Remember when everybody was flipping out over that Popeyes chicken? That's the reason why I didn't try that new chicken sandwich, man.
People
I.
were shooting people, stabbing people, trying to get that Popeye chicken
Mm-hmm.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna file a complaint.
Another white guy with an afro.
Mm-hmm. And the same face. Go get me some chicken.
Oh my.
It's like
Yeah, and a biscuit. Dang. And some coleslaw. Not really. Take your time. Like, what?
An experiment.
Watching
compound itch.
everybody. Yup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't thinking.
Yeah.
Stay busy.
I
Stay busy. I gotta watch
I ain't
some
mad at
TV.
him.
There you go.
Mm.
Hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's my joint.
Happy Father, I don't need. I,
Is the cookout. Not just my body.
My mom used to love this song. She played it over and over again.
Yeah.
and then it hit me. We haven't seen the brother.
Mm.
We got nipples. Like what the? Ooh, passkey. Then it started to click because straighter is greater.
Hmm.
In the chicken, in the hair relaxer. Was that popping and locking popcorn? Literally.
Not the grape
Babe,
drink.
drink, babe.
Oh
You didn't get
man.
a clue by now. That was the hammer hit you over the head with it. Get it? Get it? Uh.
A little awkward. It's your first time?
Yeah. Like, are you supposed to be trying to threaten me? Because I don't think that's how you do it.
I like that those little details. The
Hmm.
land and the land of the blind. Nice.
The one-eyed
Yeah.
man is king.
It's like he's not as crazy as we thought he was. Yeah, you can use them in a Fallout too to pick a lot. Mm, Lord. Oh Lord, and they serving the grape drink at communion.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's in the wine.
So,
oh Lord, not the usher with the fan, with the with the funeral home printed on the back. Mm-hmm.
Right?
it's David Allen Greer, right?
Yeah.
And this is where it started to get like, what the, and why y'all cheering? Oh Lord, not the holy dance. No. Oh no. Why y'all something's up. Yeah. And I love the writing because of that.
Yeah.
You all seeing this, right? On the way. I'm going in first. Yeah. Yeah, you know you don't want to miss out.
Yeah, this part.
Nah, this couldn't have been in the script.
No,
Oh yeah, no,
no,
this is all
it
improvised.
was.
Yeah, and Boyega does not break character.
No. It seems so out of place, yet, like in a lot of those action movies or horror movies, they get in the elevator and you hear "Girl from Ipanema." That
Yeah,
was kind of like that.
Right?
The heck? So what's White Horse? I'm just curious.
yeah.
If there's a cure for
Don't
this,
want it.
I don't want it. Don't want it.
It's perfect song.
Oh yeah.
Time.
Chicken. Mm.
Keisha and Daquan have quality quits. Dang.
I thought that was so cute. They're like following every little storyline.
Every conversation.
Yeah. No matter how stupid.
Mm-hmm. Because they have to understand the effects of using the drug and how
Mhm.
far it goes.
Yeah, all their little experiments.
And
Rubber room, padded room. This was crazy.
Yeah. Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm. And even if you hadn't seen A Clockwork Orange, just how intense it was forcing her to get programmed like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Using.
It's
They're
like,
using music to program people,
yeah,
hypnotize them.
subliminal messaging.
Mint chocolate.
Bukkake. Dang. Hmm. So who's that?
They're too curious at this point.
Gotta see
Too
how
late.
far the rabbit hole goes. And I love all the use of purple. I haven't seen this much purple since Purple Rain.
Right? Since Prince, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, beautifully lit. Everything is just
Yes.
looks so wonderful.
Gorgeous. And this was such an excellent um, example of showing and not telling and building
Yeah.
up that suspense. Got the minister, clone to him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
This was a nice moment.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what would you do if you saw yourself, but it's not you?
I would free them and be like, hey, come on, let's be best friends. We're just alike.
Come on, me.
But I'd also be freaked
Uh-uh.
out. I'd be totally freaked out. Because you wouldn't know whether you were a clone or the real thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who's the real?
And
And I would be the only one by the time I got through chopping them up.
Oh
They'd
no!
be out of here. There can only be
There
one.
can only be one.
Come on now.
And this was the reveal we were really waiting for.
Mhm.
The pimp, the hustler, and the preacher.
Nature, yeah. And they're all fully grown, you know. They're
Mm-hmm.
all ready to go at a.
Moment's notice, just to say how
Mhm.
replaceable you are. You're not unique.
Oh, yeah. So right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And he's messed up. He's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
man, my world is."
You mean to tell me they were that replaceable? They're just, what are they doing?
Yeah,
And
like, it would make you wonder if you're a real
mhm,
person, like, "Am I a real human being? Or,
what am
what's going
I?
on?"
And they're only cloning the men. That's interesting. They come into the strip club.
But, I think they're cloning the people who are the leaders of the community, the people who can rally other people to do things,
Mm-hmm.
and people follow.
Well, the pimp, hustler, and the
Yep.
preacher, that's what keeps the hood in check.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All had a role to play. Let the music take control. Let the music take control. It's almost like that the Poppy Club scene in The Wiz.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Interesting.
yeah. I know I keep saying that this is my favorite part, but every part is my favorite part. This is really amazing stuff.
You see that? What was Biggie Smalls' song name?
Mm-hmm.
Hypnotize.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yup.
It's like y'all running out the strip club.
So the strip club, everybody was in the strip club
I
before this.
know. I'm like, what's off about that?
Yeah,
I'm not
it
quite
was
right.
yeah.
It's like, why all of a sudden did the car stop going?
Oh, that would be scary.
But I thought you wanted to be friends with them.
Oh, well, no, those aren't my clones.
No.
Let's all hang out.
You can have your own clone army though,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking
take
about.
stuff over. I don't know who these randos are.
Yeah, there's a strange right here.
This was crazy. This was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
They're basically puppet master.
Mm-hmm. Some nice shoes though. And this was just like, what in the world?
So so cool. It just shows you how many personalities he can play, how many different roles he can play.
Very
He's
versatile.
so
Yeah,
talented. Man.
it absolutely looks like a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
But the familiarity with his face.
Hmm. Trust the science.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, that was effed up movie.
Yeah.
Remember that Control in RoboCop, when RoboCop couldn't
Hmm.
kill that guy until he got fired?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. This was crazy. Dang.
Chester is like super, super intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I'm
say a
scared. I'm scared.
word.
I'm sad. I'm really super scared of Chester.
These people are like, why are we outside the club?
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
And I wish more people could see this. You know, if you ever been in the hood, that's exactly the way it is. They stay where they're supposed to stay. They do what they're supposed to do, just to each other for generation after generation. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's set up
Yeah.
to keep you there
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and not make anything better.
I love that he says like Starbucks are gonna just pop up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening in some areas in Brooklyn right now. Gentrification.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
People can't even afford to live there anymore.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a trap. Don't get it twisted.
Mm.
You know what? That was some really nice acting between them.
Mm-hmm.
When you're considering how they've been up until now,
Mm-hmm.
that was really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
It was really powerful. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has really showcased these guys. The girl in the background is laughing.
Mm-hmm.
She got the chicken.
Yep. Reminds me of Erica Badu.
Mm.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Mm-hmm. Like I'm doing.
Man, this hits home so hard for me. It's like my job keeps me in the streets, and you just see the same thing every day. You know what I mean? The same people, the same faces doing the same thing day after day.
Mhm.
It's so deep.
Oh, this scene.
All of y'all who don't think John Boyega can act,
Mm, yeah,
this scene right here.
yeah, yeah. He needs her.
Remember, they're watching and listening to everybody.
Hmm.
And then it hit me here just how absent the parents are.
Mhm.
Man.
Breaks your heart.
This scene was tough to watch, but it's just like you couldn't stop watching it
Mm.
because it was so intense. And then you see his brother, and it's like he's been we haven't seen him since the beginning of the movie, so it's like it's made me wonder.
Well, this is just some kid on the street, not his
Oh yeah,
actual brother.
okay, yeah, it just hit me. I'm like, why does he look different? It's him, but it's
Um,
not him.
yeah. I love how annoyed he is with him, but he's like, you know what? He's just a kid, and he reminds him
Yeah.
of his brother.
Hmm. Give me that Capri Sun. I wonder if it's got grape drink in it.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm,
Ooh.
Squidward.
Now that would have been funny if you said that. I'm not Squidward. That's a nice old school car, not gonna lie.
Mhm.
When does it get like 10 miles per gallon or something like
Right.
that?
Oh, yeah, those old cars. Look at him.
Thank you, Jim Kelly.
Mhm. Yeah.
to the Washington Post.
She crazy.
Mm-hmm. Man, loudmouth heifers ruin everything. She the snitch.
Hey ho.
That was the same chick.
Yeah, that's the one that with the
Mm-hmm.
eye thing on her face. Those sideburns are serious.
Mm-hmm. Pimps had them fur coats. Mm. Can't have smart people thinking for themselves in the hood. Can't have that.
Mm-mm.
I always love that part. Try not to lose your mind.
I lose my- I love that Kiefer Sutherland is in this.
So good.
Hmm. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Nobody just
It's
boils a
chicken without any.
chicken without any
But
seasoning in it. Ooh, y'all messed up with those clones. Shoot. Program. This scene was crazy. Like all
oh,
the programming.
this also reminds me of The Sixth Day, which is one of my favorite movies, where they take clones and kind of give them the same memories.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Uh,
Oh, remember
early
Total
on.
Recall?
Yeah, yeah. But this is a different one, but got the same flavor, the
Same
Sixth
one.
Day. Mm-hmm. To do with cloning.
Might have given him too much.
She's like, here you go.
At least she honest hoe.
And I saw this, I was like, nice.
This is crazy. I was like, dang. Like, yes. I'll be good. I was like, dang. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see
That
here.
might be my favorite part of the film, guys.
Interesting.
You know, run it again. I think you did. Mm. This reminded me of Mad Max. I love that shot. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, uh-uh. Behind the 40s.
Hmm.
Mm. Clean perm, clean. He gonna trip. Okay.
Under Siege.
I love that part.
Mm-hmm. Like, what going on here? Where y'all going?
Yeah.
He's still smoking. Trip down here.
I just love this music. So good.
Let's see how you like this.
Exactly.
Making
Oh
plans.
man.
It seems like that. Yeah, they all running. Oh shoot now. Almost reminds me a little of that scene in Tenet
Mm,
where Michael David Washington had to fight himself.
I missed that one.
yeah.
You ain't missed nothing real.
Oh boy.
That's that's, that's why.
Yeah, he's intense. Yeah, yeah, he's a little out of your league.
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh, that's right, because all the clones got defrosted.
Mhm.
It's like, where they? Oh shoot!
Mhm.
Because you didn't think I was a threat.
Uh-huh.
Remember, hoes like you are a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Every time I see this, I laugh.
Like the hell? Wow. It kills me that this is him too.
Yeah.
This is John
Three
Boyega
Boyegas
too.
in the
Yep.
Three Boyegas in the room. I I just love her.
Oh, dang. Not like smack talk during gunplay.
Yeah, yeah. He's so funny.
Oh, yeah. I love how they're making us wait for the story.
Hmm.
To the fur- No.
Hmm.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Where he used a control word on his clone. And if he wasn't trying to do that Bond villain exposition, he could have told his clone to do that.
Yep.
Shoot our Fontaine. But had to know his
Common
evil
mistake.
plan. Yup.
Yeah.
Mysterious naked people on the run. Aw. To the Holy Ghost.
Aw.
Hmm.
I just love that last little smile, his little
Hmm.
crack of smile.
We're like,
Oh,
the hell? Oh my gosh, that brings back memories. Big boy on the radio in LA. Shiesty.
mhm.
Look straight up, boys in the hood.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's on purpose. The same walkout.
Yeah. Doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every hood.
Running down street,
You're
South
enslaved.
Central
Just do
LA.
what I say.
Signs. Mm-hmm.
You gotta watch the lyrics in your songs.
Mm-hmm. You hear the ghetto bird. That's what they would call it. Helicopter.
The frog there as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were only cloning the men, but okay, I guess they switched it up. They're like, bruh.
Probably cloning like the hairdressers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
They gotta
yeah.
have nail technicians and stuff.
Ain't that you, Tyrone? Oh man, I remember this song.
Mhm.
It's so cool that she.
Tied up, yo, you never buy me nothing. Time you come around, Jim, James, Pop, and that's pretty
That's
cool
a
how they did
clone.
that. Sometimes.
Hmm.
Wow. Desmond Murray. You got to put that guy and Pierre Charles
Yeah,
on your radar because this music and soundtrack was fire.
yeah,
And even the end credits are kind of cool. They're kind of, unless it's my StreamYards, it was it was a little fuzzy.
So she re-sang it with different lyrics.
yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't pick that up before.
It's for the movie.
Because as soon as I heard the I'm like, that's not the original word. Anything
Yes,
like when
yeah.
I first heard the title, They Cloned Tyrone. I'm like, you mean like the
The
Erica
song.
Badu song?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
don't use my phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I tell you,
Yeah.
this movie, and first of all, like I said, when we first started, I wasn't too keen on watching it, and I wasn't sure if I was going to watch it. And then Mark was like, "You got to watch this movie."
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It snuck up on me. I really do respect the movie that can do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for a while I was watching it, say about the first 10 minutes, and everything I guess was going over my head because I wasn't picking up on anything. But then when it got to that chicken scene, I was like, wait a minute, there's something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn this thing off yet. And then I just started respecting it the more it went on, the points that it was trying to make. But that's the problem. It's going to go over a lot of people's heads
Mm-hmm.
because they're not going to really take the time to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah. It already
But
has. There's so many people that are upset about or have said that it's really a movie that they think is trash. And I'm like, wait a minute, did we see the same movie? They're just like not seeing how it is sort of in a way telling the truth, but not telling the truth, but using this situation to show us something that's really obvious and
yeah,
having fun with it. It's also a fun movie about this. Look at how beautiful that visual is. It's just gorgeous. It's a
and
well-made
that's the
movie.
thing. Like I know I referred this to my mom, and she's watching it. She's like, I don't know, Mark. The stereotypes here. They're just playing stereotypes. I'm like, mom, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to stick with it. No, I don't. I just get tired of us playing these roles. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to stick with it. You got to pay attention.
Yeah. It's actually making a commentary about those roles being bad, but also
Yeah,
saying that, wake up, look and see, like we don't have to follow these rules anymore. We can make our own. And stop being hypnotized and by the obvious. I mean, I think it's a very brilliant film. It is well written. um, the writing here is just so clever. There's so many references to so many movies and so much, and literature, and it's just like it's just brilliant. It's a brilliant masterpiece.
sure. And this is something I've been talking about a lot, like off and on in my videos too. Just like being more aware of your image, of our image, of the of what we embrace as our culture, because a lot of it was given to us, and a lot of it is very destructive. Like what they were saying with the music
Hmm.
and everything. This steady diet of negativity that our kids are getting through the music and pop culture.
Exactly.
It really is a culture of death. There's just no future to that. So you do have to really like pay attention to it, and you have to question everything that you identify as being black or who you are. Question it all. You want to be the best that you can be. And I think that these three that you see right here, each of them had to face that at some point during the movie. Like, who am I? Why am I? Like, why am I like this?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Can't you be better? Can't you visualize yourself as being better? So that's
Yeah, and
quite a challenge.
at the end, they kind of resolve to like, hey, we're getting rid of that stereotype, and we're actually going to do what we think is good for ourselves. We're going with our hearts and our feelings on what we should do next. Even Fontaine wants to go travel. Like we never heard about this before. It was wonderful. I was like, yes, he's finding his own identity, and nobody gets to decide that. But each individual. You don't have to do what is like put upon you to do as sort of a cultural like, oh, why don't you do this? You're not black enough if you don't do this thing. And guess what? It doesn't matter. You're still a human being, and you still can't change the fact that you're black. It's just there. And
Yeah.
and that's something each person gets to decide. That this is an excellent display of that, and how before they were just following what they were programmed to do.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and just, well, I just love it, love it, love it, love it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
since you have not seen this film before and this is your first time watching the film, I really, really want to hear from you before we
Yeah, me too.
a little deeper. So do tell us, my dear, what were your thoughts about They Clone Tyrone?
Well, first of
We're all
all,
listening.
this is an incredibly entertaining film. So, regardless of what is in the film, I found that just overall, this production of this film, it's really spectacular. The production quality was nice. The shots were really incredible. You have this incredible cast that are spectacular together. Of course, Jamie Foxx and John Boyega and Teyonah Paris, who, as I've told you, I loved her as. You said that she played Monica. Is it
Monica
Monica?
Rambo,
Monica.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
loved her
Mhm.
in that, and I'm not surprised that I loved her in this. And so these are brilliant actors. So, I didn't really have a concern about like whether their performances would be good or not, because I knew it would be good. Jamie Foxx could, run the show. John Boyega
Mm,
could run the show. She could run the show. These are incredibly talented actors who I hope they keep making as many films as possible in their career for the rest of their lives, because I want to see things like this where I can be entertained and just have a laugh, you know. And I think that that's kind of incredibly important, first off, because the film is incredibly entertaining. Now, second thing that I was going to say is, and I do understand that there may be people watching this, not me, but there may be some people watching it, and like some parts of it are disturbing. But since the title says They Cloned Tyrone, they automatically gave me a clue that I'm not supposed to take necessarily all of this stuff seriously and set in stone. And so I think that it's really important sometimes when you see a film like this and they, they have a poster where you see 5 of him, you're
Mhm.
kind of supposed to look at it from a different perspective. And it is true that there are stereotypes in it, but it's purely for entertainment value. And then the characters themselves go through this transformation that
Yes.
I really enjoyed, mainly because they had a chance to just walk away from all this. And it's really interesting when, and I can't remember which character it was, but they're like, "What about all the good people who are here too?"
Mhm.
And you suddenly come to realize it's like that they they really do care about their community, and this was something that I really loved in the film. And I think for the most part, people do feel this way. They want their neighborhoods and everything to be nice, and they're doing the best as that they can. And for the most part, for the majority of people, it is true that the main characters might be doing some things that might be illegal or whatever. But the point that I'm making is that they cared enough about the rest of the people around them to say, we got to do something. We can't leave this
Mhm.
place like this. This isn't right. And I think most people would say, I'm not going to let them do that to my community. You found the problem. What I was really actually most surprised about was that they told everybody that they knew about it. And they came up with a plan.
Mhm.
This is so entertaining to watch them go to everybody and say, "Look, I've got to tell you this thing." And most people are like, "No, it's not true." It's like, "No, I'm telling you it's true." It was entertaining to see them do that. And guys like, "So you're saying that there's a thing downstairs?" Yeah, it's like that movie, like it was so entertaining because we do things like this, don't we? We tell friends about something like, "No, no, no," it really
Mhm.
showed that they have this relationship. They're all kind of tight, which was another thing that was very interesting. And then when they went downstairs, let's say to the bunker, the cabin in the woods scenario is for me the
Yeah.
closest to think about. When they get downstairs, I wonder how they were going to respond. Like, what do you do when you're faced with, who knows what these guys down there are up to? We know that they are also drug pushers,
Mhm.
and they're kind of thinking, it's ironic that they would be plagued, that some of them would be drug pushers above, up above ground, and then below ground they're doing the same thing to them. So, like it felt, quite ironic in a sense. But I wondered what they were going to do when they went down there. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I had to go down and see a scenario like this.
Yeah.
But they handled it with grace, like it was just another day. And I think that also shows that they're smarter than these guys thought they were. And they themselves had the ability to handle this. This is a horrible situation to find out that your entire life is being hijacked in this way. And so I love how they responded. They went down there. They had, whatever weapons. They said, "We're not going to let you do this. We're not. No, 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 no. Where are you running off to?" They pretty much let the people know that they disapproved of it and they're going to stop this. And then we see it kind of like this cascade effect going across the country in different places. I really
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think sometimes you do have to kind of have a laugh at some of this stuff. Yes, I did love the part where they knew that those guys were going to be monitoring her and that he just had the wig and he was just like, that I thought was so clever because he knew how arrogant they were, that they didn't give a shit about these people and they just want to go out the day, get their paycheck, go home.
Mhm.
And, it's like, oh, look, they're up to their normal stuff again. Yes, this is their normal activity. They never anticipated that these guys are so much more than what they've labeled them as or said, "Oh, this is their potential. They'll never get anywhere." That's not true. They have all the potential in the world. That's probably the first time anybody's even asked this guy where he's going. "Where are you going?" It's like, "Oh, I might travel." It's like, "Oh, cool." Has anybody
Yes.
ever asked him, like, what do you want to do with your life and where you're going to go? Only person that we saw, and of course there were many more who, we didn't know about in the story, was the lady who said, "I wanted to do this." He's like, "Why didn't you do all these things?" And I think that's very interesting. Things do happen to people. Things mess up their lives. Things get in the way. And that doesn't mean that you still can't do those things, but it does happen where people have hopes and dreams and aspirations and things come and mess it up. This happens. And so it's not necessarily her fault that that's happening. And I think that that's really critical to also realize everybody has this potential to be whatever they want, but things do happen and stop people from doing what they want. So the last thing that I was going to say is this the style of the film fits very well to let's say the time period that it looks like it is. You know, if it's supposed to be the 1970s, or let's say it's 70s revival. I'll say it's 70s revival, 70 inspired
Hmm.
style. Looks really good. I think it might have also worked with like an 80s revival style, but I think the 70s gave it kind of a very relaxed and slick feel to it, where, you know, you kind of wake up in the morning and you're like, this is, you know, I'm going to go through my workday and go home and, you know, put on my finest clothing and, you know, it doesn't matter if the whole world is against me. I'm going to get through this. I think that was very indicative of the 1970s, as I had said before, with the explosion of the black exploitation films, especially because the studios themselves, as I said before, were trying to figure out how come these movies are making money. Why are people going to see movies with black people playing pimps, or, you know, all these different characters? Like, why would anyone be interested in that? And what they really were just interested in seeing a great film that was entertaining and just happened to use a character that was in that particular genre or area. And people do like to watch black people in films. So all those factors that were kind of discarded, the studio's like, I don't understand why can't we replicate this? Well, you know something, in order to replicate it, you need three really good actors like John Boyega. You're gonna need these guys, quality actors, talented actors, and, you know, to do something like that, to get this kind of a result. But once again, it's so clever and fun to watch this. And yes, that wig going up and down, I just really, that cinched it for me, because that's when I knew they were gonna beat this.
Yeah.
That's when I knew, because all they had to do is say, "Hey, you know what? Like, we can figure this out. We can collectively figure this out. This is our turf, and we know it better than they know it." And, you know, it was just very clever. A lot of fun to watch this. Um, yeah, this is a very clever film. I can't wait to see uh more stuff like this. This was just a lot of fun. Really great film.
Mm.
And that's what
Yeah.
I have to
Excellent.
say about it.
Can I just make a point too? You know, it's very significant. Well, first I want to say that Teyonah Parris is freaking fine. All
Oh
right,
God,
looking at
yeah.
her right
Heck
here.
yeah.
So, all
Mhm.
right, for
Heck
any
yeah.
fellas that might watch this, I got to speak for everybody. Damn, but yeah, but also before I think that it's significant that before they went down there and kicked ass the way they did, Fontaine had to come to the conclusion that the problem was him. I think it's very
Mhm.
significant that
Oh,
he said
yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
know, when they were talking about why, you know, why won't we just walk away from this? You know, and he's trying to put two and two together, like what to do, like why he would even go back and everything. And he was just like, these people out here, like you were saying, they're good people and stuff like that, and we're hurting them. You know, the problem is me. You know, and I think that's a good wake up call. You know, for the philosophers or introspective people who might be watching this,
Mm.
because we all have a part in this community. You know, I just saw or heard a AI generated Tupac song earlier today, where because you know they caught the killer or they say they caught the
Yeah.
killer of Tupac, somebody made a track of Tupac actually responding to his killer being caught. So he's doing a clapback. It's a you know it's like a regular rap joint
Hmm.
where he's talking about, yeah, they got you and this and that and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna make sure they get you in jail. He's talking all types of stuff, and I'm like, you see, this is what I'm talking about. They need to continue to push this thug culture. You know, Tupac was a very smart man, and he would not want like something like that to happen, but they're taking his likeness and his image
Hmm.
to continue a culture of death, you know, to put out there because they need that. You know, so the artist is out there, the people, us who are on screen here and everything, sorry baby, you know, but that's my microphone, you know. I
No, no.
care for her and she cares for me, but yeah, but anyway, you know, we need to be more aware of the image that we put out there and that we portray into the world, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But because we're being hijacked right now, our image has to be one of death, you know, of confrontation, of disrespect. So I do like that aspect where he said the problem is me,
Mhm.
you know, and I want to do better. You know, I have to break out of this. This is the challenge for all of us. Question why we are the way that we are. And I like that this movie represents that. You know, you could be so much more.
Exactly.
Don't live in between the lines. Imagine yourself outside of that, because you never know. We are all the products of our influences. of our environment, but we don't have to be. So, that's kind of what I took from this movie, like a big giant wake up call to everyone who might actually stick with it and see it
Mhm.
and ponder after they watch it. This is a very powerful film.
Mhm.
And like I said earlier on, I wish more people would would see it, but I think there's reason for that too, why they're not. No one's going to talk about this as one of the most powerful movies of the year, but in my opinion, it is.
Yeah. I want to talk about something that you just said. No one, that people are going to fight us on that, or fight to not watch this. There's a scene in They Live where you have the hero fight with someone he's trying to like see what's going on, like see
Mhm.
this, here, wear the glasses to finally see the truth.
Great point.
And so this is the fight we always have to go through, everyone, not just, not in particular, but everyone has to go through this fight in order to show truth, because most people
Mhm.
don't want to see truth. They don't want to see it, especially if it's not in a package that they feel like they can understand. And this is clever stuff. This isn't like, what you see isn't exactly what you get. And it takes a while to build up. So even my first time watching, there was a certain point where I was like, oh, okay, well, this is getting interesting, but I'm not sure if I should stay, keep watching. But of course, by continuing on to watch, there was a little bit more that was revealed until finally you get the gut punch of like, yeah, this is, an in-depth operation that is pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, hypnotizing everybody, and controlling and monitoring. And so it's definitely one of those things where you feel kind of like, okay, yeah, this is very much a mirror of our world, but it isn't exactly our world either. There's lots of comedy in here. This you can laugh with. You can have fun with this. This is very much a fun movie at the same time. And I heard from the director, he said that he was asked if he wanted to do a second part or a sequel, and he said, well, if I did, it would be completely different, a completely different tone and everything. And so I thought that was fascinating. It was like, this is the story for this particular situation.
Mhm.
And it's left to our imagination to think of what happened to these characters. So just wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Can I just say too? I think the sequel is in us because I think it speaks to
Mhm.
our reality,
Ooh.
I
and I
like
can
that.
say
Yeah,
this. Looking at all of us here and watching your content and things like that, all of us challenge the narrative. All of us break the programming, and we challenge our audience to do that all the time, and they challenge us too, because God knows we're not what they say we are. So we give each other permission to come out of that and to do that. And of course you have people who push back on it because Raina, I've seen some of the things you go through because of your takes on things, and people want to challenge you for that. They want to question your credibility, and things like that. Oh, what you didn't know that I'm authentic here. It's like, what you're talking about. But for some reason it surprises people. They act like it's some type of revelation that as a black woman could know these things, or you could have these sensibilities and things like that. For some reason, that's always questioned. You had a president who said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Mhm.
The definition of who we are is always there. You know, it's a brave thing these days to be able to just be you. It's almost an act of revolution just to do that,
yeah,
to push back against what has already, for some reason, been set in stone. But that's why I say that would be the sequel, because it is speaking to us. It's speaking to our reality. So the challenge is on us. Where do we take it from there? Do we do what Jamie Foxx was saying? I'm just going to go back to what I was doing, or no, actually, that was Fontaine who was saying that. I'm
yeah,
just going to go back to what I was doing. I'm just going to ignore that I know anything. It's the classic red pill, blue pill thing.
Mhm.
What do? Do we go back to whatever they say we were supposed to be for the last, what, 40, 50 years? Or do we do better? Do we teach our children to do better and leave all of that stuff in the past and give ourselves permission to flourish, from the inside out, and stop taking everything from the outside in? So I think that this movie really, it's great as entertainment. It's funny as hell, but damn, it's deep too.
Mm,
And
yeah,
that's my type of
yeah,
movie. I love it.
yeah.
It really is, because like I told you guys in the beginning, I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't know. I'm watching this, and all I'm seeing is like the neighborhood in North Philly where like my nana lived, and she hardly ever wanted, to leave. She just wanted to stay there for the most part. And I'm just like, you see this every day. Everybody's just happy with what's just pushed on you, and nothing changes. And looking at all of that in the beginning, I'm like, I've seen this. Been to the corner store where the old guy who's like out there, and he just, he has nothing else, like no hope whatsoever. The stores that act like they're doing you a favor by existing and judging you just based on what you look like. And I'm just like, do I really want to watch this?
Yes,
Even though,
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking at the outfits, and I'm looking and I'm like, that's like, my dad used to look like, what me and my grandma used to look like. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to watch this. But what hooks you, and this is one of the reasons why this film is so good, what hooks you is the characters.
Yes.
That is what happens. Because why would you care about a hustler? Why would you care about a pimp? Why would you care about a hoe? John Boyega, he's just talking. He's talking. Talking to his Fontaine. He's like talking to his brother, whatever, and he just wants to hit some guy and breaks his leg. Just like, how can he be that, like, such a great big brother, and to just turn around and kill somebody? There's a story there,
Mm.
you know, with Jamie Foxx's character. Yeah, he a pimp with a heart of gold, so to speak, but not really. But he's just like, he's always on that hustle. And Yo Yo, who I freaking love that name anyway,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I'm a hoe. But you know what? It's just what I got to do for right now. But there's more to me than just a hoe. It's like the kind of the strippers who just like, hey, I'm just doing this to get through school, and I'm done, and I'm out, and I'm gone. People didn't see her as smart. And
Mm,
Kiefer Sutherland's character was just like, you hoes are a dime a dozen. You're not special. You're not worth anything. And that's unfortunately what a lot of media tries to say about Black women. They will pick the worst examples and say that is all you are, that's all you're going to be, and you're never going to be better than that. And if you are, we'll just ignore you or try to silence you or, invalidate you or question your credibility or whatsoever, because you threaten the image that we put out there of you. And to go back to what Mark was saying about the music, one of my favorite rap groups was Public Enemy.
mm,
And it was interesting how we're talking like white kids, Hispanic kids, Asian kids just hooking into the message that they were actually saying. But you notice mainstream radio did not play them.
yeah, that's
And they
true.
would constantly talk about that, like, you don't hear us, you don't hear us on mainstream radio. It's like, why? Not what,
Yeah,
the conscious message they were saying.
remember when Chuck spoke to that? I think it was in Bring the Noise,
Yep.
right? When he says, radio stations are questioning your blackness. You call yourself black, but we'll see if you'll play
Yep.
this. I was like, holy crap. We never had anything like Public Enemy, boy. When they dropped, that was powerful.
They
So powerful.
It sure was. And I used to blast Public Enemy all the time when I was like when I was a grad student, and I would be studying, and I would be like writing equations and stuff. I would be blasting Public Enemy, and people would look at me funny. I'm like, oh, so it's okay for you to blast Def Leppard or Leonard Skinner or whatever old rock you want to, but I'm playing Public Enemy. You got a problem with that? Why?
Yeah, but
it's
it's deep. And these like this still that you have right here, that's one of the things I was trying to explain to my mom when she was talking about, oh, they're playing stereotypes. I'm like, Mom, you have to understand something. Jamie Foxx is an Oscar winner. All right. He's incredibly talented. I think people forget because he can be so silly and stuff
Mhm.
like that. That man is powerful with his acting, his skill.
mm-hmm,
You know, John Boyega, look at him in character right there.
Yeah.
It's like so diverse, intense that man is. He can change his whole vernacular. We witnessed this.
mm-hmm,
And Teyonah Parris, of course, she's a revelation. It's like, of course, I was digging her for her looks and stuff like that when I saw her in what was it? The
Oh,
WandaVision. I think
WandaVision,
it was the
yeah.
first time I
So
mm-hmm,
good.
the first time I saw her. But subsequently, every time I see her, she really surprises me. So you see this ensemble, you see the talent that they represent, and there has to be more to it.
Mhm.
They're just not going to come out and play some stereotypes.
mm-hmm,
And that's the thing that I really respected about this, because they went 100% into their roles, but there was a purpose, there was a reason, it was multi layered. That's why I really appreciated that scene between her and John Boyega when they were really acting and
Yes.
talking to one another and like bringing it up like with their motivations and things like that. I know as actors they had to love that, to be able to go there with those particular characters. So it's like that. I really do feel like the film is a triumph in that it's like showcasing
Mm,
excellence that we don't get to see too much anymore because too many of us are playing two dimensional. And this really required them to go deep. And yeah, I appreciate it, man.
yeah.
Definitely.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Me
mean,
too.
another good thing that I love about this film and the commentary that it made. Again, you notice the only ones that they cloned were men. And if you look at it, it's like men can either make or break a community. That just like blew my mind. I noticed that. And then at the end, you have this group, of black men who are basically like, you know what? Now we ain't letting this stuff go down. We ain't letting this stuff go down. Rolled out. They said, no, this is just as our neighborhood and we're taking it back. I don't remember
That's what it's
seeing
going to take.
anything like that. You were exactly right, Mark. 100% right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I always say, to the, to the brothers and stuff like that, I tell my son, it's like, listen, the world is watching us and the world is waiting. They're waiting for us to do the right thing. I remember I worked with an old Italian guy years ago. And I remember him saying to me, I don't know, something was going on. It was a turbulent time. It was probably another, you know, uh, brutality thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And I remember him saying, when are you guys going to do something? You know what I mean? And this guy was like serious. He wanted
Mhm.
to know, like, leadership wise, like old guys, like, when are you guys going to do something? Because it doesn't mean violence. It doesn't mean looting and rioting and things like that. It simply means organization. It simply means taking control of your home, number one, letting your sons and daughters know that you love them, and letting them know that, listen, there is a future for you. I think too many of our kids out here don't even think that anymore,
Mhm.
and they really do look to the elders. They look to the, older, the parents and things like that to tell them you do have a future. You don't have to be what society says you are. Raina, I've been complaining a lot about, so for some reason, Twitter has become this place where all they do is showcase the negativity that black people do. It's like they're
Yes.
rioting, they're running around, they're doing crimes, they're punching people, violence, and all of this stuff. It's like people are believing this on both sides, and that can be dangerous because they're programming and conditioning all of us
Yes.
to think that we're just terrible people. And it's one thing to sit on the outside and judge other people that way, but it's even more tragic to be on the inside and know that we're internalizing that. So there has to be some type of outreach to the children to say, this is not who you are. Don't you believe it? Please don't believe it. It's like you can be so much more. Like, you shouldn't be a victim. You
Mhm.
shouldn't be hopeless. You shouldn't think that you're marginalized. The whole world should be ahead of you. So there has to be that constant questioning. Why do we idolize the pimp and the hustler And why are female rappers looking like hoes?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like why are we accepting this as our images? And that's what the movie represents to me. Just the questioning of that. Why? And it turns out it's because someone needs us to be this way. You know, they need us to stay that way, to not upset. It's almost like when private prisons come to a small town. Well, you have to fill those private prisons. People depend on those private prisons for their livelihoods in those small towns to work. So the incentive is there
Mm-hmm.
for for the criminals to continue. You know, because it becomes big business. That's why they call it the prison industrial complex. But why do we have to be the fuel for that? You know, so people have to start looking at how this has been going on for at least the last 30 years, you know, since crack came into the areas and stuff like that, and the illegal guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, please don't get me started, because I could go on and on, you know, but it's something we really got to think about it. And I like that the movie kind of does that
Mm.
while it's making us laugh,
Yes.
Yeah, because that
you know.
laughter is what hooks you, and it's not just gratuitous laughter. The dialogue that goes on to generate that laughter is just freaking brilliant, and really got to give kudos to them, you know, for that. So it's
Yeah.
like you need those moments of levity, um, for such a heavy subject,
Mhm.
and this is also why I'm such a great proponent of studying our history, truly our history, because history has been written by the quote unquote victors, for lack of a better term, and we weren't always like this. There's a rich history, you know, to that. So it's like, instead of, but this is the image that they want to put out. It's like all black people act like this is on social media. This is what you expect, blah blah. It's just like, no, that's not how it always was. So Mark, you're absolutely right about our image being exported across the world, because even as a professional woman, and I'm pretty sure you can speak to this as well, I can't tell you how many times I will meet people, especially people from other countries, who were just like, "Oh, well, I can't believe you speak so well." I'm like, "What does that mean?" You know, I'm like, I don't get this. But then I see where they're getting these messages from,
Mhm.
and they're getting this from our media, and they're getting this, you know, from the news and everything, and forms their opinion of what they think, you know, black people are. And I'm just like, no, that's not it. But also with like rap music that's been exported, there's a lot of cultures that will like latch onto that, and the image that's being pushed out is not, you know, is not the best. It's just like, no, that's not what it's about. And yeah, don't mean to ramble, but this film is extremely important. There are people who will, you know, poo-poo this film and say, "Oh, it's this, it's that," or whatever. It's like, no. For those of you who are really smart, not even if you're just really smart, you will catch on to the messaging that's going on. That's why Retro Nerd Girl and I, we were talking about, did you, when you watch this movie, did you think about They Live? And the
Mhm.
messages that they would show, and why are we this way? Why are we so destitute? Why is it, you know, we can't get anywhere? And they uncover what's going on and the messaging that's going on, uh, in this film. So kudos to Jewel Taylor. I'm telling you, this is great. Thanks so much, Mark, for telling me about this film. I'm having a great time, since it's the spooky season, introducing people to films that you may not have heard of before. And this is, I want to say, this film is like sci-fi, horror, and black exploitation wrapped up all in one. That makes you think.
Mhm.
You absolutely think. So before we cut out here, I'd like to go around the horn, let you guys talk about your channels, shout out your channels. We'll start with Retro Nerd Girl, and we'll go right on around. So let the folks know where they can find you.
Okay, yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Retro Nerd Girl. I basically do retro movies. I also do live streams. So on Wednesdays, I do a modern take in the mornings, and then I do a stream on Fridays, usually a discussion about retro things in pop culture. Today we did best animated movies from 1990 to the present day. And then tomorrow, which is usually typically on Saturdays, I do watch parties. I'll be looking at the movie The Mummy 1999. And
Ooh, I love that
yeah.
one.
Me too. And that's just my Saturday. So come on and join me. Hit me up on YouTube, and we'll talk about retro movies.
All right, all right. Well, Mark
Mhm.
with the C, please, sir, tell folks where they can find you.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me on and allowing me to be in the company of such loveliness.
Well,
I
thank
really do
you.
appreciate that.
It's really
Yeah.
sweet.
Thank you.
And Mark with a C is the channel, and you come by. I don't do a lot of streaming at all, but I am a full time single dad, and as what we're talking about here, I really take that seriously. Just raising the next generation as best we can. But when I do get in front of the camera, I spit fire, baby. So you come on by because I talk a lot of social commentary mixed in with the entertainment stuff because to me that is combined. It's all
Hmm.
part of it because a lot of it has been hijacked and weaponized against us.
Mhm.
So I like to call it as I see it, and I love to invite conversation. I'm always in my comment section and things like that. And also, when I do stream, it's in the company of the Dark Council, of which Lorena here is a part. And we do that every other week on Fatal J's channel. And we just have a great old time doing it. So, if you want to get the dates and things like that, come by the channel. I always put it in my community section, when we're going to be on. But yeah, so once again, thank you guys for having me on. I had a blast.
Oh, you're welcome. We're welcome. Nice having your handsome face on the panel so we can look at you while we talk.
Thanks, babe.
Please do let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, guys, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Positive Fandom, where I do all the parlay and the fandom. I do have a Sunday brunch on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also do live watch parties as well on Thursdays with Darth Plato. We usually do a historical film. We just did The Deer Hunter yesterday,
Ooh.
which was yeah, it was a tough
Wow.
one. But we're continuing with historical films. We think history is important, so we're just going to continue to look at films that are have some sort of historical premise to them as well. I'm supposed to be doing gaming. I haven't done gaming yet, but it's coming up, guys. It's pretty soon. Lorraine and I, of course, are on the Burr Network together for our Ladies of the PGS show on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern, as well as Toxic Male Appreciation here on her channel, and watch parties like this. Guys, you can find me doing all of that and more, and also Midnight Musing Show. It's going to be tomorrow night, but I don't know by the time you guys see this. It's usually on Friday nights on the Burn Network for that show. So yeah, and my show is called Positive Fandom because I'm trying to keep things positive. I am critical about things, but I try to keep it on the positive side. So and had a great time watching this film with all of you. Lorena, thank you again
Same here.
for doing this.
Oh, well, you are more than welcome. More than welcome. Folks, please do subscribe to all of my panelists here on the channel. Of course, my channel, the Reina Creole, spicy pop culture and sci-fi analysis, and I keep it real when it comes to theme parks, various videos and live streams, but major live streams, of course, Welcome to Florida on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can check out all the crazy stuff we can fit in an hour for the second craziest craziest state in the union. I also have my theme park live streams on Saturdays. You can catch me every other week on the Dark Council on Fatal J's channel, along with Mark with the C and others. And Toxic Male Appreciation premieres every Sunday at 1 p.m. So you can definitely check that out. Once again, thank you so much, all my panelists, for being here.
Thank
You
you.
guys who are watching, let us know in the comments if you have seen this film. Let us know, and
Mhm.
definitely let us know if this commentary made you go out and watch the film. So we would love to hear from you. So, folks, take care, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.